Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Vixen Voice. I'm going to tell you, you're in for it today. All of us on here are either snowed in or weathered in, so we've just been giggling and making the most of it. When you listen to this, if you're having weather, let's make the most of it and have fun. So today's exciting because we're talking about money mindset. Earlier this week, I interviewed Daniel White on his spiritual program to help you put a good money foundation in. So that's really great stuff. So I thought I'd invite a couple of guests so we could have very real conversations about our own issues with money, how we think about money, how we've overcome it. So we have Lacey Pruett here. You've heard from her before, and she'll be sharing some awesome stories of what happened with her after she went through my money mindset exercise. And we kind of raised that mindset and set her hourly rate. And then we have Bex Woods, who you've heard from before, an amazing photographer based in Houston, but she does work all over. In fact, you're going to be in California soon, right, Bex, doing some photo shoots. So she does amazing branding photography, headshots, and she actually coaches you a little through it to make sure you're comfortable, you feel good, and it's a beautiful experience. So it's really great. And as you'll know, Bex is a client of mine, and she's become a very dear friend. In fact, I'm traveling to California with her, so we're going to have fun. And finally, last but not least, we have my brother, Paul Roberts. So I thought we should have a financial advisor on today, and I thought we'd keep it in the family. So Paul, welcome.
Thank you. I look like a financial professional this morning.
As we mentioned, we're all being weather challenged, so we're just grateful that we're able to be here live with you. Internet's working and power's working. So thanks for joining us. Awesome. And Paul is the CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. He has financial offices from Florida to Texas, all along the southeastern coast, and they have clients all over the country. So Paul's going to share with us how he helps his clients have an abundance mindset going into retirement. And we're just going to, kind of share with you our stuff. So everyone, I thought we'd just dive right in this morning. When I'm always coaching on money mindset, what I like to do, I always say awareness is 50% of the battle, right? And to kind of set the stage, we talked before we got on that sometimes when we have trauma or blocks, which having a low money mindset or a scarcity money mindset is a form of a block, right? And so usually these have to be removed, on the mental, the physical, the emotional, the cellular, and the spiritual level. So today we're going to talk about the mental level because that's normally the first clearing, right? We got to get rid of these negative thoughts we have about money. And I mention the 5 levels because I hear all the time, well, April, I've been in therapy for 10 years and, I've made progress, but I still have issues. That's because that's one form of clearing. So the cool thing is Lacey coaches on mindful movement. So she's going to give us some tips on physically getting rid of fear, anxiety, and any other scarcity you might have. Obviously, Paul's going to share stories with his clients. And Bex is on as a live client who's been through it. So thanks for being vulnerable, Bex. Awesome. So here's a fun question I like to ask. And, awareness is 50% of the battle. Like, where did these blocks come from? Where did these mindsets come from? And sometimes it's deep and we can't discover. But one way we have them is as a child, what were you told about money? What did you see about money? And not just about money, but your ability to bring money in, right? So I kind of want to start and ask everyone, like, what is your first memory of money or your predominant memory of money from when you were a child? So Lacey, it looks like you might have something for us. I'll ask you to go first.
Well, thank you, April. And I love being here. My money mindset has just completely elevated from where I'm about to go, because what I learned as a child was the more money value I could bring in, the more important I was. Ouch, right? Because I don't believe that anymore. And as a teenager, that I became a workaholic because I thought, okay, well, the more I earn money, the more everybody around me is going to be happy with me. And then that elevated into college. I did have to pay my way through college. So that was challenging in its own right, but there was never enough money in my head. never enough money, because it was always having to go out to some bill or some debt. And then that carried on with me through my first career, where I just stayed as a consistent workaholic, because I didn't know how to step off that wheel of constantly earning. The more the merrier. And if I did have maybe some extra time, I filled it with going out and earning more money. And so my success with money became just nonstop. I couldn't ever get enough. I exhausted myself. My health deteriorated, because, as we know now, it's if you operate from that lack mentality, you're never going to arrive. So it took a lot of work to flip that script in my head and realize there's enough money. It's everywhere. I look around, it's everywhere around me. It's there for the taking if I want it. And now the fun becomes, how am I going to go get it? Because it's there. So let's have some fun and go get it.
I love it.
Yeah.
And my story's similar, but I'm going to go last. So Bex, how about you? What came up for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, my earliest memory of money is, well, one, definitely from early childhood. It was just scarcity and debt, and always hustling to get more. So I grew up in a single mom household. She was a single mom with no help from dad. I've actually never even met my biological father. And so, and no child support, nothing. And so her raising 3 kids on her own, working full time, and she was always doing something to bring in more income. She was always trying something that never worked. Like every multi-level marketing thing she tried. I remember my childhood, we did Mary Kay for, when I say we, it was just, she did it, but it just permeated the whole house, right? It's like Mary Kay for a while. And I know that's successful for many people. It just didn't work for her. She did, I don't know, lots of different things. I even found some Tony Robbins CDs from 1993. And I actually chased down someone in my neighborhood. I borrowed their CD player because I was like, I got to listen to this. So yeah, we just lots of debt, lots of trying, lots of making it. We never didn't make it. We always had food on the table. My mom always wanted us to have nice things. I think that's where the debt came in. So we always had a great appearance, but on the inside, it was like, I don't know, traumatizing, like literally traumatizing. Yeah. I'm still recovering from that mindset. Like, it's so hard. That's probably my number one hurdle for being an entrepreneur is that money, is that scarcity mindset. And I've always been great. I attract money. I'm great at attracting financial success, but it flows through me like that cold wind that's out there right now. And so I say hello and then I say goodbye to it. So that's probably my biggest hurdle is learning how keeping money is I just don't know how to do it. And it's not a bad thing. It's just scary, I think, because I don't know how to hang on to it.
Well, and a couple of things you said. So one, as you know, we've been working together for almost a year, and you've come a long way in this mentality. So we'll get into that later. So first of all, I just want to give you kudos, and just being so open and vulnerable about it, like, really helps. And so many people are not. And the second thing I heard is where your mom made sure you all look good, but you were a mess on the inside. And I think all of us grew up, our parents' generation was the status generation. That's what they were programmed to be, right? Like, we have to have the nice car, we have to have the nice house. And it doesn't mean they were bad people. That's just the world they knew. And so now we're adults and we're like, well, I don't believe that. And that's why, we have to learn to set our own boundaries, our own mindsets, our own way in the world. And, here we are. I think everyone on here, we're all in our 40s, right? And we're still kind of figuring it out, even though we're pretty good at it. I just share that because if you're listening, I hope as we share our stories that you're thinking back to your stories and, how it impacts you. And it's just layers we're pulling off, right? And we want to pull those off so we can show up and be our best selves. Yep. So Paul, how about you? What came up for you, either consistent or persistent from childhood?
First of all, just in agreement with, everything you guys are saying. And I think a lot of it in my childhood was, as April mentioned, parents, that previous generation, they were, status driven, keeping up with the Jones. What clothes are you wearing? What car do you have? You know, what's everybody's house, and the constant talking about all of that. And then, you know, my dad constantly talking and the conversation being about money all the time. And I just wanted to go fishing. I didn't care about money. I just wanted to go play. I wanted to go have fun. I wanted to go enjoy life. You know, I was a very free spirit and very free soul all my life. And so I think when I got into my adulthood, I kind of, in the beginning, resented money. I didn't like money because money was what interfered with my freedom and the way I wanted to live and who I wanted to be. And it was a conversation that was shoved down my throat all the time, or the conversation at the dinner table that I didn't want to have. I wanted to talk about a fishing adventure. I didn't want to talk about money at the damn dinner table, right? And so that it kind of created a resentment in me in my early adulthood. And I kind of had an attitude, you know, you hear everybody out there, money doesn't matter, money's not everything. And I was that mentality when I was young, you know, money doesn't matter, money's not everything. And it wasn't until I got into like my early 30s when I started realizing that, yeah, money's not everything. And it's not all about money. But you know what, Paul? You're a free soul. And guess what buys freedom? Money. Okay. So I'm a person who today, I love money. I love accumulating money. I love making money. I don't have a problem attracting and manifesting money. I'm actually very great at attracting and manifesting money. But it's because I have a different perspective of money, I think, than most people. To me, the goal and the point of money is freedom. And I love freedom, and I want freedom in life. And in today's modern world, in the material world we live in, yes, you can work really hard. And don't get me wrong, someone with no money or anything can work really, really hard down a spiritual path, and they can come to a place where they're happy and they're fine with themselves no matter what. And everyone has to strive to get to that point where you're happy with yourself and you love yourself no matter what. But having money makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun when you go fishing on your yacht rather than walking through the woods in mud boots, right? So, you know, it's just that it opens life and it opens your horizons. It broadens life so much. Starting to make money really just expounded my mind. It expounded my horizons, expounded my world. You know, I'm a global person now. I live in multiple countries. I travel. I live half my time in the Caribbean. I spend half my time fishing. I don't work that much anymore because I don't have to. But that's all because money brought that to me. And that's why I work constantly to attract and manifest money, because I love my lifestyle. I love the freedom that comes with it. And I think that sometimes people get caught up in money as I need it for security or for status. But think about how much it helps you achieve freedom and how beautiful that freedom that money can provide is.
I love that, Paul. And, you know, working with especially, I work with all female entrepreneurs, and I think many entrepreneurs, but especially women, go into this because they want the freedom to be able to be a mother or to be a wife, to set their own schedule, to live the life they want, and, you know, juggle their multiple roles. But yet the contradiction is they struggle with cash flow, they struggle with money, and they have the scarcity. And I always feel for women, the more purpose we put behind our goals, the more we're likely to achieve this. And I think it's all humans, but, you know, especially the women I work with are very purpose driven in their work. And so I want to invite them to adopt this purpose of freedom, right? Not just for them, but for everyone they love. And, you know, Paul's sharing his story about how he lives all over and travels. I think you have like corporate apartments in Biloxi, Houston, and your main home in Honduras right now, right? And how many team members do you guys have now?
46, I believe. Somewhere 46, 48. I can't keep up.
And when Paul says he doesn't work hard, he has plenty of responsibility. He's just learned how to harness that. And, you know, hopefully his firm should hit 8 figures this year of revenue, right? So here, I say that for aspiration, that you can have freedom, you can live the life you want, and you can run a good business. And, you know, a lot of people listening are struggling maybe to get to their first 6 figures in business. business. And, Bex is in my mastermind where we're helping women get from 6 figures to 7 and live a better life. It's not just getting there, but to have more joy, peace, and love. And Bex, I want to give a shout out to you because last March when you joined, you were very much struggling with money mindset. And I know you're open to chat. That's why I'd love to talk.
Oh, yeah.
That, here you are. I don't know if you realized what happened in our coaching session this week, but Bex also hopped into my small group coaching, which, by the way, is to help women get from 0 to 6 figures, which she's already exceeded. But I love that mentality because Bex is like, I want to do everything I can. And for me, getting back to the basics is so important, right? That's what professional athletes do. They get paid millions of dollars to ground, do 100 ground balls every practice, to catch 1,000 catches, right? It's all about basics and fundamentals. So, Bex, I want to give you a shout out for that. But what happened just yesterday in our small group was I was teasing them because I have a new mastermind for women running companies doing 7 figures plus who are more in Paul's realm, running a team, because that's a whole different set of issues, right? And that mastermind, we're taking a private jet from Houston to LA and we're actually masterminding on the jet. And they're like, oh, I want to go. I was like, cool, let's get you to 1 million. And Bex was like, yes. And a year ago, thinking about getting to 1 million, share with us, a year ago, where were you in that mentality? But you in 2 seconds were like, yeah, I'm doing it. Right.
Yeah. A year ago, I'd been like, oh, that's impossible. That's nice. That's not for me. That's for people on TV. But I think probably my biggest hurdle is money mindset. And I've worked on it a lot, as you know. I think though, what's interesting, and it just struck me when Paul was talking about kind of growing up and money conversations just being forced upon him, where he resented it. And I actually have the opposite problem. We never talked about money. We never, no, you don't talk about money. That's, it was considered rude in my household, rude. And it was, I don't know if embarrassing isn't the right word, but I think part of the reason why we didn't talk about it is because we didn't really have our family just did not have a healthy relationship with money and financing. And I think growing up without the conversation, I made assumptions in my, youthful, undeveloped teenage brain. I made assumptions about money in those situations. And it was my observation really was just enough. And I think that I have held on to that, just enough will be okay. Just enough keeps you great. Right. And I never experienced too much of it. I never experienced not enough. I think probably my mom shielded me from that. And so I think I have these, horse blinders where I'm just enough tunnel. It's no more, no less, just enough. And I think that's my biggest problem is once I get enough to be okay, I'm okay, I'm going to rest now. That was exhausting and I'm just going to take a break, and I take a break long enough for it to be oh no, now we don't have enough. We got to get the engine going and try all these things. And then, I have just enough. Oh, okay. Phew, I'm going to take a break. And so I never get past that hurdle of making it where it's easier, where the money just sort of, you keep your eye on it, but it sort of builds itself. I've never been in that. I've never let myself get into that scenario. I think I clam up at oh, nope, just enough. Let's stay in our lane.
So it's safe to say, Bex, I like to use the analogy, the rails on the bridge, right? You feel safe driving your car over the bridge because there's rails on the side. And that's kind of the money. Once you find this little zone, okay, I'm comfortable here. I'm good. Yeah. And the hard part is looking at a big tall bridge with no rails over the side and fearlessly climbing that bridge, driving right onto that bridge and knowing what there could be consequences. You could fall off the side, you could fall in the water. And yes, that's the hard part in life. There can be consequences and there can be failure, but failure is not failure. It's just a gift, right?
Yes, I like that.
And also just to come back and kind of qualify and quantify what April was saying, Paul said he doesn't work hard. I do say I don't work hard today by choice.
Yeah.
Right? But I worked too hard. And I was a workaholic, and it ran my life, and it drove my life, and that's all I did. Yeah. And it took from my family and my children and from me. And the biggest thing I realized in business and where my business took off was when I switched from a scarcity mentality to abundance mentality, like April was saying. Yeah. Because I realized that I was a workaholic because of scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't trust in others, and I didn't have confidence in others, and I had to do it, and I had to do everything.
Yeah.
Hardest thing in business to do is to let go, believe in others, and allow them to take their stage and to create the situation, optimal situation for them to inspire and empower themselves and move up. But that's a very difficult thing in business is to take your finger off the control button. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And that's a scarcity mentality thing. That's a fear-based driven activity and lifestyle, right? And the hardest thing in business, just like life, is to let go of the fear.
Yeah.
You know what? There will be consequences. I'm okay with consequences. They're nothing but gold. They're nothing but lessons and more teachings for me. And every time I fail, I become smarter, stronger, and wiser. And I'm ready and willing to fail at any time, any day.
Yeah.
I agree. And, Paul, I'm going to back up and ask you to share your story. But first, let's talk about the ripple effect of working on ourselves, right? And coming to these realizations. I always joke that we have to love ourselves so we can love everyone else, which is true. And we have to take care of ourselves so we can take care of everyone. But Paul, going through the journey he's gone through, he shared with you, he has 48 employees. They're super loyal because he's changed their life and they have abundance mindset. And you'll probably have over 1,000 clients, right? Like households that same thing.
3,000 something, yeah.
3,000 households that they've changed their mindset and helped them. So that's why when we work on ourselves, we end up giving to everyone else because we show up as the light. And so, and Bex, I want to go back to your story too, because I have some questions for you from childhood. And Lacey, I would love for you to share your stepping off the high performance stage, as you say. But Paul, just share real quickly kind of your story of why you're in that scarcity mindset, how you became a father young, et cetera, or whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah.
I was, my girlfriend got pregnant my senior year of high school, and the world flipped upside down, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know how to take care of myself, and I got to take care of others. I was a boy trying to grow into manhood, and it was a rough road. It wasn't easy, right? And it really built a lot of negative emotions and negative scarcity mentality and things of that nature in my life. And it kept me in my children were my light, yet the situation as a young man was too much to handle, and it kept me in darkness. And it wasn't until I got to a certain age where I said, I'm tired of living in fear.
Yeah.
I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of pain. I want more out of life. And, that's when I started adjusting. But as April said, my journey was a long journey, 5+ years of, the whole thing's a long journey for all of us, right? But once I made that decision, I want to change my life. It was about a 5-year period it took me to relearn myself and learn who I am and come back to myself and love myself again.
Yeah.
But in that process, I'm a very spiritual guy, and I'm big into ancients and spiritual healing and teachings, and I started to learn and understand vibration and power versus force. And I learned that all my life I've been trying to force everything, and I didn't understand true power. And power has no force in it. Okay? Power is influence. It's leadership. It's taking. It's motivating. It's bringing others to where you want them to be without force, right?
Yeah.
And as I started to grow my company, my only goal and mindset was the higher I keep my vibration, is the higher it affects, is the more it affects everyone around me. The more the light shines from within me, is the more that light shines on others. And that was what allowed me the freedom in business to let go, as I was saying earlier, let go of control.
Sure.
In the financial business, we all have egos in the financial business. We think, well, all the people want me because I'm so smart. I'm so great, right? I need to see all the clients. The clients come because of me. It's just me. I'm so great. And to always keep that ego in check, you never want to destroy ego, something I think is very much wrongly taught today. Shatter the ego. No, you never shatter the ego. It's a very necessary part of you. You manage it and you harness it, right?
Yeah.
But once you can harness it and you understand that it's not me, it's not about me, and you can let go. You can understand that if I lead, from light, and I raise my vibration high enough. Higher I raise my vibration, and the more I work on myself, is the more that I reverberate and resonate within everybody else, and it's the more I affect them. And that's what allowed me to let go in business and let go of the control and I need to do everything, was the understanding and idea that no, I can empower others. I can change others' lives.
Yes.
You empower them, you change them through guidance, through leadership, by shining that light, letting them see the shining light, letting them see that you're humble, that you're understanding, that you're loving, you're caring, right? And that you're always looking in an abundant world, and you're always looking upstream, and you're always going. And today, as April said, my people don't question me. I come in from the Caribbean with crazy ideas, right? I come in from the Caribbean, I fly into town, I'm like, hey, we're going to do this, and this. And I come from all over the place, and they're like, what? And 10 years ago, they would look at me and say, oh my God. Now, when I walk in and my mind starts going, I start saying, we're going to do all these crazy things. They just jump on board. Let's go. All right, here we go.
Nice.
They know that with the confidence that I deliver and that I believe in it and we're going to manifest it, and I've already thought it through. I have already felt it, smelt it, touched it, dreamed it, imagined it. And every time I come back with ideas, my team understands I've already lived and experienced that idea. So it has no choice but to manifest itself in reality. And I do manifestation and empowerment training with my team too, once a month. And in the beginning, they thought it was crazy when I would talk to them about manifestation and empowerment. What's this weird guy talking about up here, right? I thought he was going to teach us about mutual funds. He's talking about spiritual empowerment and manifestation. Right? But then when they witness it and they experience it and they become part of it, they learn themselves. Now, I can tell you, I don't have to do all the manifesting because I've got a team who understands empowerment and manifestation, and they're manifesting for themselves. And when I come in with things and I say, hey, we're going to go do this crazy thing way off here in right field, they don't question it because they've seen it over and over and over. They know before I ever bring something to them, I've already lived it. I felt it, because I believe thoroughly in deep manifestation. You have to go deep within yourself. You have to first know what you want. You know what you want, you have to imagine it, and not just imagine it like, oh, I had that nice boat. No. What does the sun feel like drip on your face? What does the sweat feel like dripping down your face, right? What does the salt air smell like? What is the engine rumbling? You have to go so deep into it, and that's what I practice. I go so deep into what I want and so deep into the experience that if there is no such thing as a time-space continuum and everything is here and now, so if you actually experience something, you actually create it in your mind, it has already been created. It's already been put into the universe. There's no choice. It will manifest itself. And my team goes so deep into that experience that I actually create the real experience. So I tell them, hey, we're going to do this. They just go with it. And we go, and then all of a sudden it happens, and they think it's magic. But now they're learning that it's not magic. It's the power of the human. It's the power of the mind, body, spirit complex, and now they're starting to do it themselves, so it's fine.
Well, and experience builds confidence. So you've built the confidence in your team. So I love everything Paul said. What's fun is you can tell that we believe a lot of the same things and we're doing a lot of the same work. I felt I had to leave the financial industry to do the work. Paul found a way to do it through the financial industry. So that's really cool. But, one thing he talked about was influencing his team and changing their lives. And I want to hone on that because so many solopreneurs I work with are scared to be responsible for other people. And I just want to tell you, there's so much beauty when you are in that position and you can impact and change. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can really be beautiful and add another layer of purpose to what you do in your business. And another thing he talked about through manifestation, visualizing, smelling, seeing it. What Paul is doing is owning that scenario. And, manifestation is so strong, but we have to sell ourselves on what we believe before we deliver it to our teams, if you have a team. And when you do that, like he said, he's already experienced it, then it makes it easier for your team, right?
Yeah.
And so if you don't fully buy into what you're doing, how can you influence others to do it, right? And so that's why working on ourselves is so important. And his final point was that or an early one, but he experienced a lot of pain and scarcity. And you're probably listening and you have some pain in your life, or you have scarcity or fear. How much longer do you want to live that way? Let's make the decision to change that now, listening to this conversation. I want you, when you get, when we wrap up or while you're listening, think, what is my first step? What am I going to do within 24 hours to stop this and start the momentum forward? So, Lacey, I want to go to you talking about pain, because you shared how you're chasing money and financial security brought a lot of pain into your life. And I know you've written 2 books on how you kind of stepped off that stage. So, oh, by the way, if you would like one of Lacey's books, which I highly recommend, here's what you do. You go to your favorite place, either YouTube, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. Leave us a lovely review. Let us know how you enjoyed the show.
Love it.
Take a screenshot and you just send that to team, TEAM, at vixengathering.com, and just say, hey, I want Lacey's book. And you're going to get one signed from Lacey. So super excited. So Lacey, please share your story.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was really hard to not pipe in about 8 different times during Bex and Paul. But
well, give us feedback. I love the conversation. Go for it.
Speaking my language, and specifically Paul, I want to go back to the ego conversation that he started, because that is so important. It really changed the trajectory of my whole life. High Performance Detox was really my journey through stepping off that darn stage. I was exhausting myself trying to please everybody in my life. They tell me what to wear, what to look like, who to be, what to say. And it's exhausting. And I wound up hitting my level of success back then feeling awful. This isn't me, feeling very empty. And so I have this crown on top of my head thinking this is supposed to feel better. And I started that deep dive into why doesn't it feel better to me? Well, I wasn't being authentic to my true self. I was being that girl. Ego plays a huge part. It's one of the steps in the High Performance Detox to break down your ego. Some people don't even know what ego really is. They think it's just when you're being snobby.
Right.
Or they think you're too full of yourself. That's actually not wrong, except it's not that you're full of yourself, that you think you're better than anybody. It's that you've created this idea of who you're supposed to be, and it just doesn't align with who your soul's called to be. You marry those up, you separate yourself from your ego, you're rocking on. So I don't know how woo-woo you want to get, but I've done all.
You can go as woo as you want. This is a woo show.
I don't want to scare the viewers, but it's a deep dive into who the hell you are and who you're here to be. My ego has a different name now because I had to do so much work on separating her from who I authentically am. I guess I can share. Why not? We're being vulnerable, right? Her name's Jessica. Her name's Jessica. And through the years, I think back then I chose Jessica because Jessica, it's just very strong, kind of bitey. And my ego was mean to me back in the day. So I needed a strong, firm Jessica. Just stop it, Jessica. And I talked a lot to Jessica. Well, Jessica's become Jess because I'm cool with her now. She's there. She might never go away altogether. She's taught me a lot. So Jess is my buddy. It's a part of me, but she's not in charge anymore.
That's right.
And that is strong, guys. Yeah. So you do the ego work first, and you realize you're here for way more. Then you decide who you're going to be, and you set that in stone because you're going to be her, whether you get applause or not. And gosh, that was tough. That brings in my decision not to have children. I love children. And I grew up in a society that thought that was my role in life. I'm a woman. I've got to reproduce. That's my job. Hard years because I thought, gosh,
Go for it.
I'm passionate about it because I thought, gosh, I don't have any worth then. If I'm going to be this success over here that nobody cares about, but I didn't have a child, yikes, and nobody's happy with me anyway. Well, that was a whole other journey that was really tough for me for a few years. And then I said, enough with this. I said, I know who I am. I did a lot of work on it. It wasn't as easy as I'm making it out to be now, but I know who I am. I know who my soul wants to be. I know what I want out of life. And my word, Paul, is fun. I love freedom too. I love all the things. But gosh darn it, I wasn't making life fun at all for myself, for those around me.
Yep.
And I definitely wasn't attracting fun. I was attracting a lot of work. And so I had a realization, a visualization that we're here for fun too. And guess what? When you start making life fun, even all your responsibilities, any role you choose, mother, entrepreneur, spouse, partner, fisherman, a fisherwoman, I fish too. I want all the things, and you can do, when you elevate your mindset, you can just serve in any role you choose. And guess what, ladies? We can have all the roles. And I only say that, Paul, for women, because women get stuck in having to choose one role or the other, and it's wrong. It's wrong. You can do this, you can do that.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Women are in a very powerful place today. Y'all can do all of the things you can do, and you can do most of all the things that men can do. And we can do things that we're limited on what we could do, right?
Yeah.
Women are in an amazing place in the world today.
Yeah.
And I think that they really need to understand and harness and accept and harness that power that they are in charge, and they decide who and how they want to be.
Well, thank you for saying that, because that was another block of mine, is that men were out to get us. Men aren't out to get us. The right men. They're
love
out.
us.
They want to support us. Yes.
After our first bad relationships or our first bad we all think that, right?
Well, that's true. That's true.
I thought that at one time in life, women were just out to get me, or oh, come on,
well. And truth be told, I at a certain time I thought women were out to get me. It's really all those blocks you kind of just have to cut apart, and then you start manifesting these really good women in your life, these really great men in your life, and you feel that support. And guess what? Then the next time the not so great people come in, right away you acknowledge it and you just say, no thanks. I'm going to love you from over here, and you move on.
You send them unconditional love.
Yes, yes, all the things. Yeah,
I agree. I like it. So Paul says freedom, which is important to me. Lacey says fun. For me, I like to say love, peace, and joy, because I think we don't have enough pure joy in life. And you know, showing up in love and receiving love, I really think is a big part of why we're here and how we change the world. So Bex, what would your word be? What are you chasing?
So this is like our current word of existence, or what is this word? I'm a little lost on
what drives you. So Paul's after freedom. Lacey wants more fun in her life. That's what drove her. So what about you?
I guess, I'm really enjoying chasing after just more togetherness. I don't know. I'm just really enjoying building a community, building my family. Yeah. And I think for me, like I've had a family for a long time. So I similar to you, Paul, but I was a little bit older. I had my first child at age 19. Oh, wow. And so started off being a really young mother, doing a lot of the same things I think I saw my own mom do. So just sort of, in a sense, living what I know. But so, I don't know. My word is just that togetherness. Because I think for a long time, I chased like success and just making it, and when I say making it, I actually mean just enough. Chasing that enough was probably my word for a long time.
Paying the bills.
Paying the bills. Paying most of the bills.
Most months.
And I think for the longest time, I existed in rest of that chase. So I'm always chasing, and I just would sort of collapse. Metaphorically, I guess, and recover so that I could continue to chase, enough more. And so because of that, I didn't maintain very healthy relationships. I think I also did just enough to keep people happy around me, to keep myself happy just enough. And so I don't want enough anymore. I want togetherness. I want happiness together. I want that community that's present and enjoying the moment. And so that's my word. Togetherness.
Love it.
I'm with you, Bex. That is my stage of life right now. I am pushing myself outside of my comfort zones, forcing myself to go join more groups and social groups and more social outings, because I have a tendency to seclude myself, and I am purposely daily and weekly today, pushing myself out to find more community, more togetherness, more people.
Awesome.
And also on Lacey's note, I 100% agree with her. When I say freedom, I mean freedom to be yourself, to live your way you want, to do what you want. But I part of freedom is, I think, life, we're here to enjoy it. You're here to have this experience.
100%.
These ideas from the old days or the old religions and things that, you know, should be a martyr or you should know. God put us on this planet to experience, and the experience we have goes back to Him, and He gives us things for it, and we give Him things for it. Thank you, God, for all of these wonderful experiences. And what people don't know, I think too many people don't know, is God's on the other end thanking us for the good experience that He's getting from us.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Go have that experience. Go love life. Go enjoy it. Be happy.
Yes.
Be fruitful. Be abundant. That's what God wants from you.
Yes.
Give grace and gratitude for having that opportunity.
Yeah.
And here's the, you know, if you're listening, you're like, yeah, but I'm just in this bad place. Look, Paul and Bex shared that they hit their bad place young that catapulted them later to success. Lacey, I know yours came later. I got divorced at 32 and didn't have a dime to my name or a home. And, you know, that's what really kicked me into gear. So, and for a lot of people, this happens in your 40s or 50s. You go through a divorce, you burn out, you change careers, like embrace it. It means that there's something beautiful waiting for you. And you just have to embrace the journey. And I love the, you know, be grateful every day. I mean, Bex likes to post, she has a Facebook group. What's your Facebook group name?
It's the Moxie Project. Yeah.
Yes.
Moxie
I
Project.
love it. Yeah. And she posts every week, what are you grateful for? And yesterday I put everything. And that felt so good, because I can't tell you I feel like that always, right? But right now that's where I am. And it doesn't mean things are perfect. I've been snowed into my apartment since Saturday, right? Like, I mean, you know, I have a startup company. We're still, you know, struggling with cash flow. Like, my life is not perfect from the outside right now, but I'm grateful for every minute of it and everything that goes on. And these moments.
In gratitude, I think one thing that's the hardest thing for people to learn, and it's been definitely the hardest thing for me in life to learn, and is that gratitude is always there. Gratitude is not there for the good times and the good things you have. What is more important is to show gratitude for the trials and tribulations you have. You know, I have some family members and people I love dearly who have been going through some really difficult times. And it's hard to look at that and see the grace in it. But you got to remember, every time God brings something in front of you, it's nothing but an opportunity to become smarter, stronger, and wiser. It's an opportunity to become more in love. It's an opportunity to become a greater, more powerful person and to empower more. So the hardest thing is when you're down, we know people out there on this are having struggles or having hard times. Thank God for it. Gratitude. Thank you for these hard times. These hard times are what make me who I am.
Can I share
these opportunities and these lessons and these things that I have to grow from? If you had not given me these challenges, I would not learn this and I would not grow. Don't take it as defeat. Take it as opportunity and a blessing, and give gratitude for it.
I love it.
Can I share I'd like to share an exercise. It's so true. And I'm sorry, Lacey. I got to jump out on a meeting, but I know you're about to go into something good, so I'm going to go back and watch the rest of this podcast a little bit later today. Okay? Oh, you better, Paul. It's good.
I promise I am. It sounds good. Thank you guys so much.
Let me see if you're uploaded, Paul, before you hop, so that we get your video. Hold on one second. Give me one second.
Such great things.
It is showing me, you're 100% uploaded, 99%. Okay, you should be good. Thank you.
Awesome.
I just hit the red button, right?
I love it.
Hit the button to leave.
Thanks, Lacey. Wonderful being with you and sharing time with you. And I wish I had a lot more time for the conversation, but I'm going to go watch and see what y'all had to say.
Awesome.
See ya.
So great.
Hopefully we got all that, because that was gold.
Yeah. Oh, it's golden. It
Lacey, go
inspired
for it.
me. One of the exercises that I do in workshops, so that's the newest thing I'm working on, is getting in front of people face to face. And one of the exercises that I send them through is it really dovetails from what Paul just said. And you want to thank those people that have given you the biggest lessons. But that is so tough to do when you are sitting in vulnerability, especially if you're sitting in pain. Nobody wants to hear, oh, go forgive your enemies, or, oh, thank you for this opportunity. No, it sucks. And I even have a hard time getting to that place of gratitude if I'm in pain. But you know what's really cool? An exercise you can do at any stage of your life. Pick the people and the things that have harmed you the most. So you're giving credit to what's harmed you, right? Right. I write it down. I write down everything. Write it down and then just say the lessons. Write down the lessons you learned from that person or that experience. That's goodness. If you look at that column of just the lessons, take the emotion out of it, take the person out of it, take the ouch out of it, everybody can be thankful for those lessons. Because I look back on mine, and I even took it a step further. I did all this under a full moon, and then I crumpled up the paper and I burned it. I'm a little pyromaniac sometimes, but get rid of it, because guess what? We're at a new level now. We elevate, but you've got to do the work before you can pop up to this new level. So you can always be grateful for the lessons. Okay, so if it gets a struggle for some of our viewers and listeners to be grateful in the moment, I get it. That's not my jam either, but I'm always grateful for the lessons, because I love me now. And me now came from all the journey of lessons. So just a little encouragement.
And for me, sorry.
Go for it. Yeah. No, please.
I was gonna say, like, practicing gratitude has been huge for my mindset to get me out of that, negative spiraling and into more of an abundance mindset. Yeah. Practicing gratitude is huge. That's why in my group, I like every week, I'm like, what are you grateful for? I wish I do it daily, especially when I start to feel grumpy. Like it's all in my experience, it's been all my mindset. Sometimes, and I have to check with myself when this happens, everyone in the world is annoying me. Everyone, every interaction I have, I'm like, this is so annoying. I hate everyone today. And when I think that I have to realize, and you were saying, April, the realization of it or awareness is half the battle. And so at least now I recognize, like, okay, I'm hating everyone. I don't think this is everyone's fault. I'm the common denominator. So I need to sort of like maybe be like, okay, what am I grateful for? What is this person brought into my life? Why am I a better person because I know them? And always I can find something. Always. And another mindset thing for me, when I started to realize, okay, it's all in my head. It doesn't matter. I can completely change my outlook and then be a better person. So for example, there was this networking party at a store opening, and I wanted to go. I really wanted to go, and I knew it would be good for making new friends. I was in a new town, making new friends, making new business relationships, and also good for my business. But I came up with every excuse not to go, and I was really getting anxious about it and was definitely not going to go. And for silly reasons, like I just assumed when I started to unpack why I don't want to go, I was making assumptions that the other women there would judge me on my skin texture, or that my hair wasn't voluminous enough, or that I wasn't wearing nice enough clothes, that I would be judged. And so I wasn't going to go. And luckily one of my best friends called me and they're like, hey, what's going on? Because I was just having a tizzy of emotions about not wanting to go. And she helped me to realize those are all in my head. And she gave me the confidence to go. Yeah. And I went. I didn't have a pal. I also was trying to find like a wingman, couldn't find anyone that could go with me. And I went anyway. And I had a great time. Not one person was like, your skin texture, like, why'd you come in the door? Like, no one did that. No one did that. And I had a great time, and I made a new friend, and I made good business connections, and I felt so much better for going. But I almost tricked myself into being like, you're not good enough. You're not going to have a great time. Don't go. Just wallow in your pity here.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just that easy. Yeah. It was that easy just to flip my mindset. And it wasn't, it's easy. It feels like turning on a switch. It's not that easy. You have to make these conscious decisions to first turn on the light bulb, but then you have to consciously decide, I'm going to climb out of this pit that I have built for myself. And that's hard, but it's doable.
To that point, I think when you feel called to do something, do it.
Right.
The fear is going to, I have this thing. If something scares me, I'm going to go do it because I don't want fear in my life, and I don't want scarcity. And so that, you're talking about networking last week. I'm trying to network more in Nashville now that I know I'm staying here. And I'm like, oh, there's so many cool people. I want to meet more people because I traveled so much last year. I mean, I was only in Nashville for 6 days in December. Like, how can you have like a community, right? So I'm trying to stay put and I'm trying to meet people. So I go, and it's a freezing day, and I go to this lunch networking. I get there and the restaurant's closed. And like no one's standing around. And I'm like, okay, I went through all this effort because I work from home. So if you work from home, it takes effort to like get dressed and go somewhere, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, I scheduled my whole day around this. And as I was standing there, I was like, okay, something good's gonna come. And somebody cat called me from a truck, and it was a woman, and she goes, are you here for the networking event? And I was like, yeah. She goes, let's go get coffee there. And she was this amazing woman, and I made a new friend and a new connection, right?
Awesome.
And I mean, thank goodness she had the courage to like shout from her truck at me.
And
we just had this beautiful moment because for me personally, I don't love networking because here's how I like to explain it. I don't like cheap wine and cheap cheese. I don't eat cheese and I don't like cheap wine. So I'd rather spend the time with people I already love and like want to spend time with. But when I do network, I'm like, okay, there's someone here I'm meant to meet. I don't go there to meet 10 people. I'm going there to meet that one person I can go deep with, or we have a connection. We're meant to be there. So almost I look at it more from a spiritual realm. And so, if you're struggling to network and get out there, just go do it. I mean, I went to a thing in my building here. They have lots of social events, and no one talked to me the whole time. Like, it was a room full of people, but they just had clicks. And as you'll know, I'm very extroverted. I have no problem breaking in. And I was just like, okay, there's good music. Cool. They do have good food here in my building when they have events. Let me enjoy this, have a drink, and go back. And you know what? It was a fail for networking, but I still got to hear good music and have a good bite. So these things happen. Like, just put yourself out there. And guess what? No one noticed. No one noticed that I wasn't talking to anyone. It didn't harm me. And I just moved on. And I would love to... Yeah, tell me, please.
So I think beyond like cheap wine and generic cheese, you don't like cheap talk. And I think what happens a lot of times at networking is so much small talk. Hey, how are you? Oh, the weather. It's like, oh, what do you do? And then you get the commercial, and it's just it's a bunch of no. I think the best thing you can do is to arm yourself for these kinds of networking events. Arm yourself with interesting questions that you can actually get to know someone beyond just the... I
agree.
To me, it's just such a waste of time. Like, I do talk about the weather, but like, I don't know. Like, let's get past that. Like, let's turbocharge.
Because I always say life's too short for cheap wine, but I'm going to change it to life's too short for cheap talk.
Cheap talk.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah.
I'm going to get some t-shirts made that say that. So Bex, I'm looking across the room. They're not on my desk, but I see the ring of Vixen cards. So you've been to a Vixen happy hour.
Yes.
In the event, we have fun questions that you flip and ask, because I don't want that surface level. And everyone, and the other thing is we make everyone put their phones away, right? So everyone, oh my gosh, everyone freaks out when you ask them to put their phone away.
Yes.
At the end of the night, they're like, what? I can't talk. At the end of the night, they're thanking us for having them put their phone away, be present, and have a real conversation, because the world is lacking in it. So I know we're running tight on time. I'd like to quickly share that I actually have a spiritual practice I do daily for forgiveness. And I've been doing this for over a year now. So yes, it does take time. And now it's become like part of who I am, where every day I'm forgiving everyone who's harmed me in any way in this lifetime. And then I ask forgiveness from anyone I have harmed, right? So, but before you do that, you have to forgive yourself. So it's forgive yourself, forgive others, ask forgiveness, right? And if you do this every day, what happened midway through the year, it came to me that I not only forgive anyone who's harmed me, but I send them peace, love, and joy. And I ask God to bless them with unconditional love and compassion. Because think about it. If we were all operating in that frequency, the world would be an amazing place, right?
That's so true.
if we just flip that. So before, I know Bex, you have something, but we have one more minute. I'm so sorry. What I would love to hear from y'all is, what is one positive belief? And we all have different belief systems, have you heard here, and we honor everyone's belief system. So just from your point of view, what is one positive belief that you have, or possibly, I want to encourage everyone listening to think about this and say this daily, right? What's one positive belief about abundance, deserving things, money that you have that you can share?
Do you want to go first, Lacey? Because I know it's 9:45.
Go for it, Bex. I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Try again. You may fail. Do it again. Do it a different way. Do it again. Do it again. I feel like that's one of the childhood lessons that I learned, that I'm running with it. I think that, like, seeing my mom try all these different things, but continue to try. It didn't work. Try another thing. It didn't work. Try another thing. Keep going. Something will stick. You'll find your groove. And that's where you find abundance, happiness, and joy. When you find your groove, you don't find it just like that. You have to keep trying. You have to do the things that might end up looking cringy, but until you experience that cringe, you don't know that's not the direction you want to go in.
Right.
Right. Yeah. You just got to keep trying all the avenues and then find your river that's going.
And the fun thing is, you took something that was traumatic for you as a child and you've turned it into a positive motivation as an adult. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Lacey, how about you?
It's a core belief now that I'm worth it. So whatever it is for you, go out and get it, because it's out there. But go out and get there and make it a goal to see how fun you can make that journey.
Yeah. So I believe daily that God's going to provide my daily bread. And if you know me, you know that Our Father is huge for me. And even whatever your belief system is, the Our Father does push the darkness away, right? There's power to the words. But I believe that my daily bread is provided every day. Now, that doesn't mean I get to sit on the sofa and eat bonbons, because I also think that God doesn't love laziness, right? If we're giving gifts, we're supposed to use them. So I believe if I'm on purpose doing the work I'm supposed to be doing, that I am going to be rewarded for that and enjoy my life. So as long as I show up and do what I'm supposed to do, I never worry about money, cash flow, what's coming to me. And that way, I'm in control, but I'm not in control at the same time, if that makes sense, right? So
it does.
I love it. So everyone, we do have a time cut. We could talk forever. We will continue this on another one, and we will get Paul back. I have a feeling he's going to be a fan favorite, as he usually is. So Lacey and Bex, thanks so much for coming so many times. I love conversing with you, and our audience loves you. So if you're listening and you want more of Lacey and Bex, go check out the show notes. We can get you connected. Join Bex's Facebook group. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Join our Facebook group, the Vixen Gathering. And Lacey, where can people find you easily to follow you?
I'm an Instagram gal. I keep it easy at Lacey Pruett. Bam.
Love it. So go find us, connect. You will get more of these nuggets for free just by following us. And if you want to do some deeper work, here's another thing. We talked about struggles and things taking time. Earth has changed. The consciousness is moving much faster. You can heal much faster today. So if you want to have a deeper conversation about that, reach out on our podcast page. You can book a consultation with me and we can chat about it in your situation. So have an awesome day. I always like to say the world needs more love. So how can you show up in love today? Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.